Hi, everybody. Welcome to Video Marketing Success Stories. I'm Andy Glickman, your host, as always. And with us is frequent guest, CEO and founder of RIP Media Group, Maury Rogow. Maury, thank you for joining us.
Always great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Oftentimes we like to take a look at the video marketing industry, check out some trends, see what's working, what isn't, talk about some projects. We often talk about some RIP Media projects when we have Maury on. But today I wanted to talk about just kind of some general themes or practices involved with video marketing that we see. And one thing in particular, I noticed a lot of companies specialize very specifically in on-camera hosts. They provide the host, whether it's an actor or somebody within their company, to serve as the spokesman for a company. I wanted to talk to you about the use of on-camera hosts. When it's a good time, sometimes maybe it's not such a good idea. What can you tell us?
Sure. Happy to. I think there's a great use and a great use case for on-camera hosts, but I think they've got to meet, three particular spots. And this is when you can sort of use an on-camera host, because there's a lot of good, there's a lot of danger spots when you're talking about using an on-camera host. So I'll say if you're talking about creating a marquee video, which is your main landing page video, your main homepage video, or a keynote address video, something that's going to be seen by a lot of people, and you have to make a great first impression, you really want to take a good look at, is the person that your host authentic, and are they personable, right? So when I say personable, I mean, are they attractive to the camera? And I'm not saying attractive like Brad Pitt or, Jennifer Aniston or whoever. What I'm talking about is, does the camera like them, and do they like the camera? Do they like talking to the camera? Are they engaging? Are they really involved and engaged in your product and your service and so forth, so that people like watching them? That's really it. It's not a looks thing. It's a comfortability thing on camera. So the other part of that that's really big is they've got to be authentic. They're playing a character, so they're playing a host. Typically, you're going to find an actor, or maybe it's somebody at your company, right? So if somebody at your company is going to be your host, that can be great too, because they're probably passionate about what you do. They're probably really knowledgeable about it, and that can be really great. But think of this. If that person leaves the company, now here's the danger spots, right? If the person leaves the company, what happens then? Now they're representing your brand and they work at a competitor's, or they're out of the industry, or something like that happens. Or if you go and you hire, which is a really good idea to do, but hire a host at, an actor. I mean, we're sitting here in Hollywood, so there's actors literally everywhere we walk around. So if you've got a great actor, they might have some rights and usage issues. They might all of a sudden get the big movie role they really wanted, and then their contract terminates with you and you can't use them anymore. You could also get lucky in that you got them on a 5-year agreement, and now they're, in the next Avengers movie. What a great win that would be. But you got to kind of look at those agreements and see what the usage rights are. So there's a lot of different ways to go with it. So when you think about a host, the common host is you think about Ryan Seacrest or Jimmy Fallon, right? So if there's a show you're doing, you want to go as high end as you possibly can, right? But there are those danger spots. So those are my quick thoughts, right? It's a marquee video. You got to go big. You got to really make it look amazing. The person has to be personable and authentic would be my 3 rules for getting a host.
And is there anything you can do in production when you've lined somebody up, but let's say it's somebody outside the company, so they're unfamiliar with the product or the service. Is there anything you could do in sort of mid-production to prepare them?
Sure. Actually, we've done a few things with in that case. So it's very important to me as the owner of a video marketing agency to make sure that these people are authentic. So every time we've done this, and if you look at our website and the different examples, or our customers' websites, you'll see people that are really speaking authentically. And how I handle that, or how we handle that, is I had the customer send the product out at least 30 to 60 days ahead of time. And even if we were using actors, we actually had them go online, do a little bit of quiz. Like if it was a nutrition product, we had them use it for 30 days. And then they were literally legitimately very happy. There's a level of comfort. They're not just acting as a host. They are truly, now a testimonial and a happy customer. So that's one way to do it. And some other ways to keep the authenticity high is to make sure that you're having really rigorous auditions. Now, this has come back to really help us. and it's come back to bite us. So I'm going to give you a good story and a bad story. So before we realized that we had to do not just day and next day of callbacks, but rehearsals, we actually had a pretty big shoot, and we had the two actors come in, the two hosts come in and do their pieces, just a little snippet, because everybody was very happy. The advertising agency, the customer, we were happy. They came back in and they did English and Spanish. And so they did about a page of dialogue. Everybody felt comfortable and they went away. There's a little nagging, feeling in a couple of us. And we talked about it afterwards. Well, do they know just that page or everything? Because it was a lot of copy, because we were doing, I think, 8 or 12 videos with them. Well, the next day when they came in, or 2 days later when they came in, they had only learned that page. The rest of that production day was very, very difficult, with somebody feeding a line and then repeating the line back, once in English, and then we did it, and then in Spanish, and then back. So that was really difficult. So you have to be rigorous. Don't just trust that the actor's going to come in and know everything. And this goes all the way up the line. We've had television actors come in and the same thing happen. They think, well, there's going to be a teleprompter there. It's going to be just fine. Don't believe it. The teleprompter can fail. The power can go down. There might be a problem. Anything can happen. So just make sure that you are testing that person and they know that script back and forth, and they have the feeling and emotion in there too. So rehearsals are paramount, extremely important. So, the audition, the callback, rehearsal, and maybe even more rehearsal on that whole script.
And when you have those moments when the client makes a selection or has a recommendation for somebody, if that doesn't jibe with your feelings, if maybe you don't have the same judgment of those people, is there a way that you can deal with that delicate situation?
That's a great question. So, you're getting into client relations and how close your relationship is with your customer, with your client, or my customer, my client, and how much of an authority you are. So, if you really take the tact that you're an expert and you really know what you're doing and that your opinion really matters and they trust you, then the conversation should be pretty easy. You can just say, some things that you've seen, that you want something that's here and you feel like this is here and there's a gap in between. Is there a way that you think it could be solved? Hopefully they can come up with the idea that, well, that gap could be solved if we get somebody else. For example, but those can be pretty difficult conversations, especially if somebody says,
my brother.
Exactly.
My brother is great at this.
It's usually, exactly. It's usually, my niece or my cousin or, that kind of thing. There's a personal referral. They're going to be great. That's where, you can run into problems.
So I think about, in particular, product demonstrations. Obviously, we see a lot of videos, whether not necessarily an infomercial, even if it's just a short, 1-minute product demonstration. Those seem to work well with the host. Can you think of any other specific style of video where a host is literally more recommended than not?
I would say it's different than that. It's not a product or service. It's really your brand voice. If your brand voice is, really, full of life and, full of experience and, it's GoPro cameras or it's, outdoor living or it's surfing or, that kind of thing, then yeah, an on-camera host to meet that standard, to meet that look and that voice really makes a difference. So it's really more about your brand voice than I think it is about a product or a service, because you have the conservative level and then you have the really fun level that you can come in with. And I always get back to what we call the stuff. So there has to be the stuff, which is sexy, touching, unique, funny, or deliver fear. One of those has to be involved and incorporated into your script and the experience that you're delivering. So that's really what matters most. And if a host can deliver that and you feel like the story is suited best for a host, or the delivery is suited best for a host, then that's where it becomes obvious. That's when you want one. So I've got an example for you. We had a commercial bank that really is sort of known for being, their audience would be, 48 to 65-year-old, wealthier male, is the typical audience. That's what they told us. So we wanted to sort of show something that was aspirational. So we took that, that male, we aged them down a little bit, because people typically buy what they want to be, not what they are right now. And if you're looking at how they sold, which is the lowest rate or the best terms, that's not really very sexy. So or it doesn't really sizzle and resonate. So we took asked an actor to help us out here, and we had him do what we call a walk and talk. So we had him go through. We added a lot of personality. This brand went for it. They loved it because everybody in their industry at that time was very staid, very conservative. So they said, we're going to stand out. We're going to be the one that shines. So this was great that they bought in on this. And it was right around the time, it was actually, we pitched this idea before a video came out called the Dollar Shave Club. And after Dollar Shave Club, there was another called Poo-Pourri and a couple others that really hit the mark. So you had a on-camera host, but living the product, walking through offices, walking through a warehouse, well, being outside, outdoors, and really hitting the product on the head, but in such a snarky, fun, and funny way that added a lot of personality. It really took off. And for our customer, this video really took off for them. So it went viral in their industry. So it got hundreds of thousands of views. And then we also pitched the idea of having the actor do breakout sessions. So the marquee video and then some smaller videos that really broke out the product. And those also got hundreds of thousands of views. And from what we were told, it resulted in tens of millions of dollars in new partnerships and business for this commercial.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's a great success story. So Maury, do you have any resources you could recommend to our listeners that they can check out either through your website or some other way?
Sure, absolutely. There's some great resources that we put together out there. So 3 that come to mind really quick. One is the Video Bot, THE Video Bot, like robot. The Video Bot helps people make their own videos in seconds, and it's a resource that we've been using really successfully and our customers have been using. So, you want to get back in touch with that cold lead or, the person that hasn't gotten back in touch with you, or you just want to do some outreach. Or even wish somebody, happy birthday, happy holidays. There are videos sitting in there waiting for you to personalize, and you can literally do it in seconds and send it out. And there is it's free for the first period of time. So that's a great resource. Second, if I'll give you a link to this, but this is basically it's called the Create the Salesperson That Never Sleeps. And this was actually compiled from all the frequently asked questions that we've had over the years from different customers of ours. So we put all those FAQs together and then turned it into a scorecard and a way to create your own best video marketing message and just marketing messages. So if you go there, you click on it, it's a free download, kind of download this workbook. I think it's 6 pages, nothing too laborious. It's not going to take you a year to go through, maybe a few minutes or half an hour. And you will have a great roadmap for what you should be setting up as far as your company's best stories. So that is creating the salesperson that never sleeps. And then the last thing is, ways to promote your video or your story. There's another link that I could get you. And I believe that infographic is the 10 best ways to promote your video and your story. And I'll give you a link there. So those are the 3 things I can think of quickly. And happy to share more if you hit us up on our website at ripmediagroup.com.
Great, thank you. And once again, thank you very much for your insight and guidance. And hopefully the audience at home can take a little something away from Maury Rogow's advice. Maury is CEO and founder of Rip Media Group, one of Los Angeles's top video marketing companies.
Just voted top. It came out last week.
Just voted #1. Awesome.
Very proud of that.
Thank you for joining us on Video Marketing Success Stories. I'm Andy Glickman, your host, with Maury Rogow, CEO and founder of Rip Media Group. If you want more information on Rip Media Group, check them out at ripmediagroup.com. You can see samples of their work and check out their blogs for even more tips. Thank you and have a great day.